Why have you allowed the illegal recording of Jeff's phone call without his permission? And then
Logan Paul threatening to sue Coffeezilla. Do you think Logan will win if he sues Coffee? Let's take a look at his allegations.
Coffeezilla. I watched your 3-part series called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam, and like many on this platform, you have successfully used my name for views and money. While your work used to be impartial, your addiction to clicks has clouded your judgment and you've made very real errors with very real repercussions. Coffee, you took a shot at my reputation. So in this video today, I'm gonna be defending myself with facts, something that you have gotten in the habit of twisting as you...
Very interesting. Looks like he's teeing it up for a defamation case. He says, my reputation, I'm going to be giving the facts, something that Logan is claiming that Coffee has twisted.
You continue to morph from an investigator to a gossip channel. You see, Coffeezilla tried to work with law enforcement in the past, but his work was described as not anchored to truth and often speculative. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, and he's nothing more than the Keemstar of crypto and finance. But as opposed to just telling you, I'm gonna show you some of the core discrepancies that I caught in Coffeezilla's investigation. Coffee, you interviewed the developer who stole the game code, fled to Switzerland, and held it hostage for $1 million. Well,
yeah, I just want to reiterate, that one's going to be really interesting. I don't think that's going to be too hard to figure out if Logan's telling the truth or not. His developer fled to Switzerland and demanded $1 million. Like, that's got to be in writing somewhere. Got to be easy to myth bust.
his name is Zach Kelling. Surely, as the internet detective that you proclaim to be, you would know that he spent time in prison for multiple felonies, one for aggravated robbery, armed robbery at a liquor store, and the other for, surprise, obstructing the legal process. Not only an agenda, but a fondness for orange jumpsuits. Or did you just hear what you wanted to hear and moved on? Because even if you're lying to yourself, Steven, you still have to believe it. And I know what you're thinking. What type of idiot would work with an unsavory individual like Zach Kelling? I guess that's what I get for trusting the team that I relied on to vet and manage Eddie's hiring process, who has turned out to...
Oh my God, this is classic. So basically, Logan said what I think everyone was thinking. Hey, Coffeezilla didn't do any research, and if he had, he would have found out that our developer is a felon. And meanwhile, Logan, in the same breath, is like, yeah, we hired him. Yeah, the same company that I owned and started and founded. And oh, by the way, it's still not my fault. I gave all that to Eddie. And oh, by the way, yeah, Eddie's a bad guy too.
To be a professional con man that I have since learned fooled billionaires, the Mormon Church, the owner of the New York Yankees, and now me. And surely you knew Emilio, the gentleman who supposedly let his child invest in a cryptocurrency, was allegedly responsible for 2 rug pulls before you interviewed him. So either you missed that or you knew it and failed to let the public know. Why?
I really hate to see Logan comparing Emilio here. I have no idea who Emilio is. I have no idea what rug pulls he's done in the past, if any. But here's what we do know. Emilio had money in CryptoZoo, and he's saying as a consumer that it's gone. Logan Paul doesn't address any of that. He just says, well, Emilio's a terrible guy, so who gives a shit if we took his money? No, that's not how this works. Even if Emilio did, I'm not saying he did, even if Emilio did something improper in the past, does that mean that CryptoZoo can take his money? Is that what Logan is getting at here? I mean, I'm confused, Logan.
Because it was a clear sign that he was also untrustworthy. You seemed pretty excited when the guy told you that he couldn't hatch the eggs.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No, I'm telling you, it's just a picture.
You're kidding! You can't hatch?
You're kidding! You can't hatch?
You can't hatch?
Yeah, 1 second of research would prove that to be false, as you can definitely hatch eggs and even breed your animals.
Click on that. Oh, we got a duck.
And as you pointed out in your fine print, cross-hatching was available on ETH at one point, but you perpetuated the opposite as truth with your chest out.
Basically, nothing worked.
And by the way, guy, almost all NFTs are just pictures.
I'm telling you, it's just a picture.
And surely a real internet detective would not break criminal and civil laws in trying to get information, right? So why have you allowed the illegal recording of Jeff's phone call without his permission? And then
Oh, criminal and civil laws. Wiretapping? Is that what Logan's getting at? He's somehow is going to get coffee for wiretapping?
more like an internet criminal, post it online.
And it was interesting.
So here's the interesting thing. Logan is talking about wiretap, which, by the way, I'm a consumer class action attorney. Wiretapping class actions is one of the hottest class actions going right now. There are tons of companies committing these violations daily. But even if Coffee did violate a wiretapping statute, it's not Logan's claim. It's Jeff's claim. That's it. Jeff is the only person with the alleged harm. And here's what a wiretapping claim hinges upon. Different states have different consent. Certain states have single party consent. Other states require 2 parties to consent. Now, from my rudimentary research, it looks like Coffee resides in Texas. Texas, from my other research, looks like they are a single party state. I think Logan lives in Puerto Rico. I'm not sure if Jeff lives in Puerto Rico, but let's assume that he does. Let's assume they live in California. Both of those states would be dual party consent states, meaning you need Coffeezilla and the other party's consent to record them. But we don't know any of the underlying facts. We don't know if Jeff knew he was being recorded, right? I mean, at this point, it's like, doesn't Coffeezilla record everybody he talks to? I mean, Coffeezilla is, everybody knows he's interviewing them. Like, where do they think it's going to end up, right? That's the first piece. And the second piece is that's not Logan's claim. So the fact that he's talking about, well, he violated this, he violated that, well, which leaves us with a potential defamation claim. I think that's where Logan's going here.
I think it was like, this is wild.
Now, although you didn't verify any backgrounds, substantiate any evidence, took multiple criminals' words as truth, and broke laws, you still published the defamation. However, unlike you, the blockchain doesn't lie. So let's highlight some things that you did point out. Crypto King Jake stole $6 million. True or not, we had already removed him from the team when we realized he was a bad actor and his motives were purely financial. Conman Eddie, lead developer, stole $1.7 million. True or not, when we learned he was a bad actor as well, he was immediately removed from the team. While myself and Jeff sold nothing and made nothing as verified through investigation and the blockchain.
Jeff, Logan's manager, to my knowledge.
So it's kind of hard to imagine that Logan's sitting here saying, yeah, Coffee, your investigation sucks. Oh, by the way, you're right. Yep, Jake's a snake. Yep, Eddie's a con man. Yep, our engineer's a felon. But don't worry, Jeff and I, we're good. Don't worry about us, we're good. Logan, do you think that we all are sitting back saying, wow, poor Logan and Jeff, they just got taken advantage of by these 3 swindlers? Come on, bro, give me a break.
Never sold. Neither did Logan Paul.
I repeat, Jeff and I made no money and will never make any money on CryptoZoo. In fact, we only lost money trying to pick up the pieces. As has been the case with dozens of crypto and
That is a serious statement.
and we'll never make any money.
We have never made any money and we will never make any money from CryptoZoo. That's what he just says.
Jake the Snake is no longer affiliated with CryptoZoo, and we hope the money he reappropriated was worth ruining his reputation. Conman Eddie is being investigated by a higher authority that I cannot speak on. As you can imagine, I was not cleared from legal to discuss much of this, including the legal process being undertaken and the criminal investigations going on during the fallout, but I do appreciate you calling out that.
Well, that's good to know. At least Logan's legal team will advise him not to enter a video, yet they won't advise him or tell him what to do when handing over $300,000 for an investment. That makes a lot of sense. The other thing here too that's so interesting is that Logan is pretending as if he has 0 civil liability because he wasn't in on it. Now, granted, Logan's best case scenario is he wasn't in on it and can prove it. His worst case scenario is he was in on it and he knew what was going on. So whatever happens, happens. But the reality is, if CryptoZoo was rotten to the top, it doesn't matter if it was Eddie or Jake or any of these other guys. It means that Logan is a part of CryptoZoo, and if CryptoZoo scammed consumers, well, guess what? Logan's part of that. Now, he can maybe on the back end try to get some of his money recouped by saying, hey, I did nothing, these guys did it all, but that'll be for him and Eddie and the boys to figure out. That's not on the consumer. The entire point here is, did CryptoZoo steal from consumers, right? And if they did, Logan's not going to be able to shake out of that. He's part of this. We've already seen the white paper. He owns that company.
Rats under my nose, stole the game code, millions of dollars, and left Jeff and I abandoned with no team and knives in our back. But even after 12 months of work, you've still managed to overlook one crucial piece of information. See, even though I've said it's coming so many times.
Project when we get closer to launch. This project line is going to be.
Is that the thing with the egg?
No. This one's gonna be, this will be crazy I've ever done.
You've assumed that CryptoZoo isn't being made. Who are you to decide when the development timeline ends? I got everything.
Who are you to decide when the development timeline ends? We'll be doing this in perpetuity for the next 100 years. Really? Really? You didn't have a timeline for development? You didn't have any prototype? You didn't have any time horizon? Pretty sure all that's gonna come out too.
Stolen from me and our community, stopped promoting publicly as soon as I knew the extent of the internal issues, took all of the heat on social, and you still published a defamatory hit piece fully knowing I was innocent just so you could enrich yourself in your $10 million studio. Sharp, but deeply unethical, dangerously misleading, and illegal. I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it. And maybe we could have talked about this.
All right, we're not gonna have to even worry about that. Spoiler alert, how's Coffeezilla gonna afford a lawyer? Well, if he has insurance, what he's gonna do is Logan's gonna walk on down to the courthouse, file his lawsuit. They're gonna get a process server who's gonna knock, knock, knock down in Texas on Coffeezilla's door. My guess is federal court, diversity jurisdiction. I don't know, could be wrong. And what's gonna happen? Coffeezilla will be served. Well, what's Coffeezilla gonna do? He's not gonna cry into his coffee. He's gonna take that lawsuit and he's gonna give it to his insurance company. And what's the insurance company gonna do? Well, they're not gonna cry into their coffee either, because guess what? Insurance companies get sued all the time, and I sue them too, all the time. And I love suing insurance companies. So what you do is, you just take that lawsuit, you give it to your insurance company, and then they will hire counsel. Coffeezilla pays nothing out of pocket. He pays premiums for this, Logan. Logan acts like Coffeezilla is gonna be looking under the mattress to figure out how he's gonna afford his attorneys, or flipping through the yellow pages to find somebody. Newsflash, Logan. He's gonna give that lawsuit to his insurance company. The only thing he might be out is, 7 hours of deposition, maybe some time on the weekends responding to interrogatories. Unless Logan gets some excess judgment beyond the coverage, but Logan hasn't identified what the harm is. Obviously, we know it's probably something to do with this. Obviously, we know he's probably going to allege some sort of reputational harm.
If you had reached out to me, personally, not my manager, Jeff, who is not me, Steven, but the first time you did was on Christmas Eve after you released your series so you could rely on false statements and unreliable people used recklessly. The subject line was third request for comment. Yeah, not quite. This will be my third time reaching out to you and your team. The first 2 times were through your manager, Jeff.
I'm genuinely confused here. If Logan has a manager and the manager doesn't respond to Coffee, why is Jeff his manager? Like, why? What purpose would it serve for Logan to be the direct point of contact through everybody? Isn't Jeff the gatekeeper? Isn't that why Coffee sent him that communication? Isn't it on Jeff to make sure that Logan's not being bothered? What's going on,
I also
Jeff?
noticed you left out that part on Twitter. Why hide that? Trust me, CryptoZoo is coming. I will make damn sure of it. And honestly, it sucks that after years of personal reform, going through trials and tribulations, and busting my ass to evolve into a person that I can say I'm actually proud of, you led the charge to drive and monetize a narrative telling millions of people that I'm a fraud or I tried to scam my audience. That is patently false. This video is mainly for my fans and anyone who's on the fence that I hope I can help understand a situation that is tremendously complex but has been oversimplified for both views and clicks. And lastly, Coffeezilla. I now know your motives with this. Clout and money, good for you, but also you're slimiest. So I'm not gonna come on any of your podcasts. If you wanna come on Impulsive and talk about this, that's fine. You've denied my invitation multiple times. You're still invited.
Wouldn't that be the absolute best? Both of their lawyers tell them to keep a lid on it, and they go on a podcast and they have an absolute duel on there. And then the lawsuit is just blown wide open. That would be incredible.
It can be a one-on-one. If not, we're gonna handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
All right, well, I can tell you this, folks. I have absolutely scoured the internet. I cannot find any lawsuits. The only lawsuit I can find filed by Logan Paul was sometime around 2019 having to do with copyright infringement. Subscribe below. I'm going to be all over this news. I'm going to give it away for free in the comment section below. Let me know. Who do you think is going to win, Logan or Coffee? Gusto to file the lawsuit? We'll have to see.